And we're back for the expert focus segment of today's show. We're on the line on the video cam, as it were, with Antiqua Lisha. Oh, Antiqua, you had an incredible journey. We went through it during the heroine's journey portion of the show. For those of you out there who haven't watched it, if you're just tuning in, go back and watch the heroine's journey, and you'll understand in even greater depth and even greater detail why Antiqua is the one you want to work with. Now we're going to dive into the experts focus segment of our show and really focus in on a high vibe for high visibility. Antiqua, before we get into each of the 3 points, and I'll give the folks the 3 points in a second, give us a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about today.
So we're going to be talking about some of the things that I found get in the way of that visibility we're talking about in the heroine's journey, about defining yourself and allowing the world to define you. So we'll go a little bit deeper there. And then how all you really have to be is you. So when you're defining yourself and living a life that you define, how everything changes.
Epic. And this is going to be an epic conversation. I tell you, folks, when I read what Antiqua wanted to do, I'm just like, I can't wait to get here, because she's going to talk about getting out of your own way, which some people that everybody watching might know has a big problem with sometimes. So I'm looking forward to learning how to get out of my own way. Then we're going to get into the 3 C's to standing out, and finally, 1 life-changing word. So let's dive right into it. Getting out of your own way. How to feel at home with your message. What are we talking about here, Antiqua? I'm going to let me start taking active notes here, but I'll watch this video a lot. So what are we talking about here? Getting out of your own way.
Awesome. Oh, man. So we were talking about it a little bit earlier. So we're talking about how we let the world define us. So as we're kids, like, this is normal. The world does define us. We are soaking up the world literally. We have proven it. The brain at the beta level just sucks in information. We're little sponges until we're about 7 years old. So if you've sucked in a world of abundance and love and grace and you're enough and you can do anything, then, life usually turns out that way. We call those people, quote unquote, lucky.
Yeah.
Okay? If you sucked in, you're worthless pile of crap, blah, 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 we don't have enough money, oh, I'm so too fat in this shirt, I don't like myself, blah, 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 whatever else that was from our parents, because they didn't know any better. It's nobody's fault. Like, they sucked in the same information from their parents. This is that generational curse that we all go through, that we now know how to break. Luckily, this is our generation to break it, everybody. It's really our responsibility, if you're watching this, to break those patterns for your next generation. Only we can do it for ourselves. But if that's what you sucked into your reality, then that's most likely what you're continuously living out of into your reality. So this first phase is to really reprogram and redefine yourself and your brain. So there's a couple things I can walk you through a practice, and we'll go pretty fast here, but you can come back to this segment and you can watch it. So the first thing that you would do to get the middleman, that person, that thing, that circumstance standing between you and what you really are, who you really are, and what you want to do, is list 3 to 5 traits that you really love about yourself. And instead of focusing on all the things that you don't love, focus on the things that you do love. So when I first started this practice about 10 years ago, I could think it was really in relationship to my body. I was going through some body dysmorphia. So it was more than 10 years ago. I was about 27, 28. And I just thought I was this huge person. And couldn't see anything else in there. I said, what do you like? My coach said, what do you like about yourself? Name one thing. And the only thing that I thought was beautiful about me physically was my neck. This was it. This was it. Her right here was my neck. And so that's what I wrote down. And my coach said, just focus on your neck then. That's it. When any other thoughts come up, you just start talking to yourself about how much you love your neck and how you have a great neck. And now looking back, I'm like, how could I have possibly thought that I was ugly? Like what world am I in? Like, not pompously, like this was just what God gave me. But
Yeah.
it's like, I really did. I had this. So now there's more things to my list. Other things about your personality. So what about your personality do you really like? That's like tangible, that you really like about yourself. And instead of focusing on the things that you don't like or your parents said that you needed to fix, like, you know, like a zit face and zit queen. My mother was so kind. That has me picking apart my face all the time. And so once I catch myself still in the habit of like in the mirror trying to find every little nit and cranny, I say, no, I'm not the zit queen. Actually, I'm good. I'm good. And I really like my eyes. Like, you have beautiful eyes. And everyone's just looking at your eyes anyway. You don't need to pick your face. You don't need to pick yourself apart. It's okay. So we utilize these things to get the middleman, to get that old subconscious training front and center, so we can see those patterns that we have, and then reprogram them with a positive yet true thing that we believe. Not that our counselor or some book or something told us, but something that you actually believe about yourself. So name these 3 to 5 traits that you love about yourself. And then the next thing that you can do is really write about 3 people that you really admire and 3 traits about them that you admire. And writing things down. And they can be dead or alive. Like Judy Garland was amazing on stage. Just incredible. She could captivate the stage and sing like an angel, and I absolutely love her and all these things. So like I wrote down her, a couple other people, Carolyn Mace and her intuition and the way that she trusts herself, and the medical intuitive, and how you feel things and you know things, and how she accepts that in herself and was a trailblazer and a leader. So then the traits that cross over, that you find in both areas of the people that you really admire and you, this is kind of, I usually have people do this practice and then tell them this secret afterwards, but because we're on a show, like, whatever. But you're going to circle those, and those are going to be your main 2 things to define yourself. So when you introduce yourself, you can say, hi, instead of, hi, my name is Antiqua, I'm the CEO of blah, 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 or I do this, I'm a coach for a living. You say, hi, my name is Antiqua, and I deeply, I'm a deeply passionate person. I just can relate to so many people and so many stories, and so that has drawn me into my work. And what I do is I work with women who are ready to really let go of their past stories, embrace their life, embrace themselves, and really share their story and their message with the world. And I help them package that as well on the end.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And so then I'm sharing my heart, a piece of me, the authentic piece of me, rather than selling my credentials and how the world is defining me. Do you feel and see that difference?
Yes.
And the thing about the 3 people that you admire most, whatever you see in others are things that are in you.
Yeah, and it just makes a huge difference. I mean, I think the biggest thing as we wrap up the segment on getting out of your own way and move into the next one, I think the biggest thing that I took from this was, especially when you introduce and talk to people, because we're all programmed, good or bad or indifferent, to lead with our credentials, because that's what we believe stands out, and that's what we believe the rest of the world wants to hear. And if I'm meeting somebody, I'd rather find out about them first and then hear their credentials second, because it'll let me know if I'm going to resonate with that person, first.
Because you eliminate the middleman.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So that, and it's kind of interesting. What was I going to say? I was trying to think of a short way to put it. For me, there is no short way to put it. So I'm going to get out of my own way, and let's move into the second segment, the 3 C's to standing out. What are we talking about here?
So we are talking about the 3 C's, man. We're talking about clarity, credibility, and confidence.
Excellent. Clarity, credibility, and confidence. So when you talk about clarity, what do you mean by that?
Clarity on how you define yourself. So that is the 3 to 5 traits that you see in yourself, and 3 to 5 traits that you see in others that really stand out, that you admire, that you want to live as. The ones that you see in yourself and others are going to be your natural core traits. It's not something, I don't have to try to be relatable. For goodness sake, like, I lived more of a life than most people did before I was 13. For better or for worse, like, that's just how it was. And so, and I've made every mistake underneath the sun, so I'm extremely accepting, you know, and I've gotten these great opportunities to be able to speak and travel and write, and they've come kind of effortlessly to me, in the sense where I'm still figuring out how it's all going to pan out in the end, and what I'm really supposed to do when I grow up, you know. So these are things that are really natural for me, that I don't have to try to be anything. I don't have to orchestrate anything. I don't have to live up to anything. They're just my core traits. So when you have clarity on who you are, then, and what matters to you, your core values, then that's what you bring to every table. And when you do that, you know, whether you're in the bedroom or in the boardroom, you know, anywhere, like anywhere, you know if you're being true to yourself. Because if you're not, you won't be living within those core values. If I won't be, I'm trying to, like, if I'm not feeling confident, naturally confident in a situation, then I'm not supposed to be in that situation.
Yeah.
If I'm not feeling that connection, that natural connection that's really grace-filled and intuitive within me, like if all of my spikes are up and things are painful and my body aches, like, then I know something deeper is going on for the person beside me. And listening to that rather than covering it up is really important for me to honor myself in those situations. Same thing if I'm not being uplifting, if I'm, you know, in a situation which I'm never in anymore. Maybe it's why I don't have many girlfriends. As I think of it. No, but I don't sit around and, like, I don't have a meter to listen to people, like, really bash and bitch and complain. Like, I want to be around people that are really uplifting, and I want to lift people up. My Facebook feed is one of the most positive places on earth. Literally, I get trapped there because it's so friggin' positive. And people complain about Facebook being so negative. When I see those posts from my friends every once in a while, I'm like, who's on your page? Like, I have 4,000 friends, and my Facebook feed is amazing. So I that's one of my core beliefs about myself. I have clarity that I put myself, and I'm committed to being in uplifting situations and being an uplifted person. And then the next piece is being trustworthy. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Come hell or high water, I'll figure it out. And that means a lot to me. So people that aren't like that, I don't have much patience for. And I say blessings to you, and you're dismissed.
Yeah.
You know? So so those are my core traits. So having that clarity for yourself are things that are going to be really wonderful for you, and those are things that you're going to really enjoy about who you are. And when you're not living in value with those core traits, you'll be able to know that, oh, this situation isn't in line with who I am, and so you can dismiss yourself, and your life will become more in the flow. Credibility capability, blah, 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 blah. Capability is the next piece. And it's different than credibility in the sense that we can go out and we can get certified in whatever. We can get our doctorate in whatever. I know many people with major degrees that don't do anything with their degrees because they didn't feel in their heart of hearts that it was something that their life was building them up to be capable of. And God trains the willing. So capability is what you're great at, knowing what you're great at. So I had a client who had great breakthrough with EFT and tapping and mindset and stuff like that. Wonderful, wonderful, great breakthrough. She wanted to be a coach in it, or so she thought. But her natural talents, her capability is in writing. And now she's writing for Huffington Post, and she's been on TED Talk doing intuitive writing and branding. So where she thought she needed to go because she was capable and it impacted her life, and or it impacted her life and it was benefited to her, that wasn't her capability, that wasn't her gift. So knowing your gift. My gift is really to bring people home to their bodies, see their genius. I naturally see their genius. And then I naturally share their genius with the world and teach them how to share it with the world as well. So I help people come home and tell their story, come home to themselves and tell their story. That's my capability. I'm high at it, doctorate at it. That's my genius. But for years I thought that because of my mission and my heart, my story, being a trauma therapist, was where I needed to be, and that's where I focused. But I wasn't really capable of that because I didn't have the capacity to let people continue on their story.
Right. Well,
I was
yeah.
like, if I can get over it, you can get over it. Cut the crap.
Yeah. And it's, to interject for a second, it's kind of like the difference between coaching and mentoring. I mean, in our field, a lot of people want to be coaches, but if you coach people the right way, you're asking them a lot of questions and you're letting them find the answers on their own. But if you don't have patience for that, then it's great. Learn how to be a great coach, but call yourself a mentor instead. I mean, if you want to tell people what to do, call yourself a mentor and let them understand that what they're getting is mentoring, not coaching. So we've got clarity, we've got capability, and then you move into confidence, right? That was your third C. And give us a quick overview. There's one of your clients calling right now. So you picking up the phone right now? Yeah, put it down. Antiqua's busy. We're doing an interview.
I'm hanging up. I don't even know why we have these phones anymore that actually ring.
No.
So confidence comes from that marriage of clarity and capability. That's when you go and you say, okay, where's my genius? Where do I get this training? That's where all these certificates, you can't see them, but all over my walls come from, that saying, oh, she's capable of bringing people home to their body, to wellness, to, I'm a EYRT 500 with a yoga school at the 500-hour level to certify people in my Divine in 9 program. I'm a nutritionalist. I have been a cosmetologist and worked in the beauty industry for a number of years through college. I have that wellness in the house, in the home, taking care of your body experience. I'm also certified in EFT and CERT and mindset and therapy and yoga therapy and trauma therapy, and so, you continue on into the schooling to gain the confidence, and then, of course, my coaching certifications and lifestyle design and things like this to say, okay, now I have the confidence, the worldly confidence, to take who I am and what I'm capable of, my natural gifts, my natural talents, and put it into the world and shine the brightest. Yeah. And that's that sweet spot, I think.
Yeah, and it's
that I help my clients get to.
Epic. And it's amazing because when you get the clarity on the direction, and when you know you have the capability, and you have maybe some outside validation, but you really in your heart and soul know you have the capability. The amazing thing is, as you build the confidence, it goes from initially maybe some arrogance. People think you're saying that you're great, and they haven't experienced yet, to as people experience what you're good at doing because you've gotten clear and because you're capable, and then the compliments start coming in. Then all of a sudden it just becomes confidence, and you don't have to be like the person who wants to be the center of attention, that's trying to overcome a deficiency. It's kind of, you don't need
Yeah,
to be
that's like a faux confidence. That's a
exactly.
faux confidence. This is a confidence that's like deep in, that you build from. Like, I just went through the academy with Gina DeVee, another coaching certification. I went through divorce this last year, and it was just like, okay, go back to school. That's what you
Yeah.
do. You go back to school when you go through divorce. And I could either get my doctorate in positive psychology, that made sense, or I could go to this teacher training and or coaching training and travel the world. And I decided, let's do the travel the world coach training anyway. And it was intense. It was beautiful. It was a lot of coaching hours, a lot of homework, a lot of work. I mean, I'm very impressed with her program. However, what I learned in that program is I had already done enough teacher coaching trainings. like I didn't have too much to learn besides this confidence piece.
Yeah.
And that confidence piece of, I already know what I know. I already know what I know, and I need to trust what I know now.
And I think, and if I can interject there, I think you've just hit on the golden nugget. If folks watching haven't taken anything else from today, if you're at the point where you're sick of watching TV shows and webinars and everything else, you just got to get the confidence that you know what you know. I know I was in the same boat where, I thought that, I guess here's the best way to put it. I thought that if I stopped going to classes and stopped watching webinars and stuff, that it meant I wasn't still learning. And what it really meant was that I had to be more selective and figure out what smaller things, what areas do I need to focus on to really learn. And it meant that, yeah, there was that, it meant that the wealth of knowledge was there. I just had to be confident in using it. I mean, like I said, I went through, exactly the same thing where you're going, well, wait a minute, I have to go to all these things because that's what everybody says, that if you're in this industry, you just have to keep going to conferences. And eventually you got to realize that, where do you want to be? Do you want to be the person sitting in the seats at the conference, or do you want to be the person giving the conference? And for you watching, it's the same thing. Maybe it's not conference, but it's the same thing. Do you want to be the person learning about what you're doing, or do you want to be the person doing what you're doing? Right, Antiqua?
Correct. Yep. And then stepping into that confidence, and then I'll share my last piece whenever you're ready.
Epic, yeah. And we just talked for so long that, yeah, we really have to get to that one life-changing word. And and at this point, I guess it'd be a really good time to get there. So we're talking about one. Now we're going to go into the third piece, is one life-changing word. What's the one word that's going to change our life today, Antiqua?
You know what, everybody? All you have to say is yes. Yes. If you have an inkling to work with a coach, say yes. Figure out a way. Find the money. If you have an inkling to go to Europe, to fly someplace, to travel the world, say yes. If you want to jump on a boat and have always wanted to but have never said yes, friggin' say yes. Stop waiting for somebody else to define your life and give you permission. Say yes. When somebody calls you and says, hey, do you want to be on this radio show, or do you want to do this event, or do you want to work with me? Say yes. Say yes. We always wait till we're prepared. You know what? You're never prepared. We're never prepared. Just say yes and go and live. Start playing.
Yeah, and that is such epic advice. And it's interesting because you're right. People always try and wait till the right time, or that they're prepared. And like you just
Or
said,
they have the
Antiqua.
money, or they have the time. You know what? I didn't have the time for a 30-plus hour a week training program, or to travel to 4 different countries this last year. I definitely didn't have the money to invest the $15,000 plus vacations and everything that it costed. And you know what? All of it fell into place. And I found the money. Working full-time, mommying full-time, like I did it. And I traveled, and it was a blast. If you say yes, then life happens and it works for you in one way or the other. It might not be comfortable all the time. I made an investment this year that I'm still going, where's it coming from?
Yeah.
But because it was the next level up for me. But it's coming, like it has to, because I said yes. I said yes to my life. And when you say yes to your life, whatever your desires are, and find a way, ways find you.
Well, and that is the biggest key, and it's all about what you focus on. And I think saying yes is epic. I know many moons ago we had another guest on the show who talked about a similar topic about saying yes, and it's so how can I put this? Yes is so easy to say, and as long as you say yes to something you truly want to do and really feel that if you took all the excuses out, you would do, then you're saying yes to then you're saying yes to the right thing. And once you say
Yeah.
yes, you focus on it and you make it happen. Right now, while you're saying no, the fact of it is the universe is giving you exactly what you're asking for. God and the universe are going, okay, nope, not a problem, dude. We're going to give you exactly what you're asking for. Like Antiqua said, it might not always be easy, and can either Antiqua or I promise that if you say yes and you invest $1 million that it's going to just show up and it's going to happen? No, we can't guarantee that, but I can tell you from listening to Antiqua and from my own experience that we've known enough people that when they've said yes to the right thing, and meaning the right thing is if you remove all the excuses and still want to say yes, then it's the right thing. That we've seen it happen. Whether it's money falling into place, whether it's getting a job, whether it's getting it's we could talk for I'm sure we could talk forever on the power of saying yes. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that was the one life changing word.
That's it. It's yes. It's yes.
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 So, so real quick, before I tell everybody and give everybody a special offer, because we've got a little something special for you, you definitely have to stick around and take advantage of. Before I do that, is there anything else you want to say to our audience today, kind of in closing at this point?
Yeah. I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on the Expert Showcase. It's beautiful to be here. I feel honored to be an expert, and I have gotten to this place in my life. It's a brilliant place to be, and I would really love to work with you. If I stand out for you, if it sounds like you're ready to say yes to your life, to find that place of defining yourself, to tap in and see and start focusing on your genius and step into your message and your mission, whatever that looks like to you, because sometimes it's, focusing on the family, and other times it's focusing on changing the world. And I work with people everywhere in between. As odd as that sounds, is totally true. So I have programs for you to love yourself and come home to your body, the Divine in 9 program, an Amazing You coaching program. And I also have programs for people really ready to take their message to the world, my Rising Star programs. And I have different levels of participation in both of those. So I would love to work with you to get on my email list and to get a free consultation with me about your next steps in defining yourself. You can do that at antiqualisha.com, ANTIQUALISHA.com, and you'll get a free copy of my book, and also linked right into my calendar, so you can make an appointment and let's get together.
Definitely, and I just threw the website up on the screen. So, folks, the website's on the screen. Definitely want to head over to antiqualisha.com. Get your message out. You can see on there's some dashes in there. So for those of you who aren't looking at the screen, just don't start typing. Come back and look at us. We've got smiling faces. It's okay. We don't know why you clicked off and are watching the cat video right now when you should be watching us. We don't know that, but come on back because we want you back. So take a look at the screen. Take a look. You've got to connect with Antiqua. She is an expert in the field. I get so many people. In closing, I get so many people that come to me every day when I talk about experts, and they kind of chuckle and laugh. Yeah, that person calls them an expert. Well, guess what? This isn't Antiqua calling herself an expert. This is me, your trusted host, Chris M. Sprague, calling her an expert because that's what she is.
Yeah.
Only experts get on Expert Showcase. You've got to connect with Antiqua. You heard from her heroine's journey what she's been through. And you know what? For my money, somebody who's been through that, changed their life, turned their life around, that's the type of expert, A, I want on Expert Showcase, and B, I want to work with because they've been there. They know they can understand. They can empathize with the things that I'm going through, and they can empathize with you. That's why you need to check out AntiquaLisha.com. You need to go and see what she's got to offer. You need to go and schedule your Rising Stars planning session because it's going to make your life better. It's going to improve your life. You're going to learn things like how to say yes, especially if you're somebody who sits there and makes every excuse under the sun why you shouldn't do something. Get in touch with Antiqua. She's going to help you. She's going to show you how to say yes.
But you have to say yes.
But you have to say yes. So guess what? If you're saying it's only a website, so if you're saying no, go over there, click it. Why, if you listened to us this whole time, you gotta go over there. Breath, I have to remember to breathe every now and then. So folks, it's been another epic episode. Thank you very much, Antiqua, for being on the show today. You're an epic guest. You're welcome. And for all of our epic viewers, until next time, make it an epic day.
To watch the rest of this epic episode now, click on the link below the video. Do it now, you'll be glad you did. Are you still here? What are you waiting for? Watch the rest of this epic episode now by clicking on the link below the video.